NFL. Trying to finish what has been a disappointing first year as a NFL head coach. His counterpart, Ron Rivera, year 2 here at the helm of Carolina. You see what he has done over his 1+ seasons, 11-19, but they've won the 2 straight games and 3 of their last 4. Entering this one today, they were able to eliminate the Chargers out in San Diego last Sunday. Sebastian Janikowski has lined it up. Armand Smith standing deep in his own end zone. And Janikowski boots it through. A touchback for the Panthers. As Cam Newton comes onto the field, best 5-week stretch of his brief NFL career, still only 23 years of age. And Steve touched on the efficiency from Newton over the last 5 weeks, 152 throws without a pick, as he tries to continue on that upward tick here in week 16.
Yeah, he's got an over 102 quarterback rating since week 9 against the Washington Redskins. That's when this really good run started for Cam Newton, playing at a really high level.
Newton will start under center on 1st and 10, goes play action, rolling right, and finds the tight end Greg Olsen. Olsen having a career year, over 740 yards receiving. As we take a look at the starters in front of Newton today, Jeff Byers, the first-year center, continues to start for the injured Jeff Handgardner. Backs and receivers meantime for the Panthers. Brandon LaFell still working his way back from that toe injury. Missed the game 2 weeks ago against Atlanta. Returned last Sunday. Did not start. Back in the starting lineup today for Ron Rivera. This is 2nd and 6 from the 24. Williams on the pitch. Has a seam, and he's still on his feet. A marker thrown back at the line of scrimmage. Williams cuts inside the 30, and he is gone. 5 touchdown. And now the question about the penalty marker back at the 28-yard line. It's a 76-yard run from Williams, but this one could be coming back.
Yeah, the rookie second-round draft choice, Amini Silatoli, is looking like the guilty one.
Offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul.
They call it
replay, 2nd down.
They call it on Steve Smith.
Well, that stings.
Well, let's look at it. Everything else is perfect. You see Silatoli, I'm sorry, big man, for calling you out. You didn't even touch anybody. But Steve Smith, we couldn't even really see him in the picture there. There he is right there. Yeah, look at that. That's a takedown. You can't do that. Steve Smith is too good and too experienced to make a mistake like that. D'Angelo Williams is already outside as a receiver, stock blocking up the field. Your job is really just to get in the way of that defender and let the running back get outside of you.
So the 76-yard run negated. And instead it's a 2nd and 14 from the 16-yard line. Newton throws, completes to LaFell. Right at the 1st down marker, appears to have it. The spot will be very close. They pick up 14 yards, and it is enough for the Carolina 1st down. Desmond Bryant, the 4th-year man out of Harvard, starting 7th straight game for the injured Richard Seymour, who's still down with a hamstring strain. Manuel played his final game as a Raider. Miles Burris, one of the feel-good stories, the first-year linebacker out of San Diego State. And a back end that has been decimated by injury. Tyvon Branch, a question mark today with an ankle. Did not practice all week, but is making the start for Dennis Allen. This is 1st and 10. Newton airing it out again. It's complete to the tight end Olsen. As Olsen continues what has been a prolific season from him. We mentioned the receiving work. Most receiving yards by a Panthers tight end since your contemporary, Wesley Walls, Steve, back in 1999.
Yeah, and Greg Olsen over these next 2 weeks, barring injury, is going to break the records of Wesley Walls. Walls, my good buddy. But Greg Olsen is a tremendous tight end, and Cam Newton really has gotten a lot of confidence on him. And boy, they look comfortable out there right now to this point.
So a good start for Newton. They keep it on the ground here to Mike Tolbert, the big burly fullback. Well, no surprise with the way Carolina is moving the football here at the start. They have been very, very good on opening drives. Touchdown in each of the last 4 weeks, and look at the total yardage. during that span.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns to start the last 4 games, as opposed to the Raiders. Only 3 points for the Raiders in the last 4 games in the first quarter. And on first drives of the whole season, the Raiders have only scored 3 points. So very important for the Raiders to stand up and not get out of this ball game, knocked out of this ball game early.
Newton on 2nd and 6. Pocket collapses around him, and he is wrapped up and sacked. Able to get a couple of yards back, but they still lose a few. Miles Burris among the tacklers who got to him. Also Andre Carter, the defensive end.
Yeah, Andre Carter came back off the block of Jordan Gross, the most experienced offensive player for this Carolina Panthers team, making his 150th start of his career, which is the most in Carolina Panthers history. He actually did a good job blocking up the field, but allowed the defensive end to slip underneath them and make the hit on Cam Newton.
Well, more penalty markers fly here with Carolina still in their huddle.
12 in the huddle. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay. Still a 3rd down.
Well, that won't make Ron Rivera very happy.
Well, that's an inexperienced mistake. That's Cam Newton. He's only 23 years old in his 2nd season, and as a quarterback, a lot of times when those situations happen, if you're watching closely, you'll see the quarterback jump out of the huddle until the huddle gets organized, so they figure out who's supposed to be out of there. That's a complete awareness thing that a young quarterback, a lot of times, there's so many things going on inside your head, you don't notice those little things.
So the penalty makes it 3rd and 12 here. They line it up at the 42. 4 wide receivers. Newton's got all day to throw. It's incomplete. Smith trying to make a diving catch. That would have been a 1st down for the Panthers. Phillip Adams playing today despite suffering a 2nd concussion in 3 weeks last Sunday. In on the coverage.
Well, the Raiders have always been known as a team that plays predominantly man-to-man coverage on defense. Right there, as you said, SPERO, great coverage by Phillip Adams. Steve Smith one-on-one. Cam Newton would take that matchup 100 times out of 100 and expect Steve Smith to win. Right there, Phillip Adams got the best of him.
Brad Nortman, the rookie kicker from Wisconsin, on the punt from his own 32-yard line. And this is Phillip Adams, who is buried right after the catch at the Oakland 20. Jordan Sin got there first for the Panthers. 40-yard punt and a return of just 3. Steve Smith coming up a bit hobbled after that last play. Looks like he may have tweaked an ankle. Trying to work through it on that Panther sideline as Carson Palmer comes onto the field for the first time today. 1st and 10 from just outside their own 20. Darren McFadden lunges forward for a yard, maybe 2. Tackle made by the defensive end, Mario Addison. So Carson Palmer 13 yards away from becoming the 2nd Raider to pass for 4,000 yards in a season, the 2-time Pro Bowler. See what he's done on the season. 22 touchdowns, 14 picks. And now Terrell Pryor will come onto the field. We saw Pryor in some various sets last Sunday, just the 2nd appearance of the season. There's Carson Palmer on the bottom of your screen. Pryor on 2nd and 9. Some trickery here. They lob it back and forth. Pryor breaks a tackle. He's got the 1st down and more. Out past the 40 and run out of bounds after a pickup of 21 yards. And how about that play call as Jason Phillips forced him out?
I'll tell you, that's Dennis Allen kind of implied that we might see both quarterbacks on the field a little bit today. The only thing I think Terrell Pryor could have done a little differently, put a little more zip on that ball, because Carson Palmer had to force it to get it back, and it allowed the Panthers a chance to get over there and react to it. I think it could have been a bigger play. Panthers were fortunate because they were caught completely off guard and out of position.
Palmer and Pryor just playing a little catch on a Sunday afternoon. This is 1st and 10. McFadden trying to burst through the pile, gets across the 45 barely. As we take a look at the starters in front of Carson Palmer today, Jared Valdir, the 3rd-year left tackle out of Hillsdale, 25 years of age, their former 3rd-round pick. Starting his 41st consecutive game. Backs and receivers, Brandon Myers having the most prolific pass-catching season by a Raiders tight end since Todd Christensen back in 1986.
Another one of my tight end teammates back in the early days of my career.
This is 2nd and 8. Myers in motion. McFadden inside Panthers territory. Couple of yards short of the first down marker. DJ Campbell, the safety, able to trip him up after a pickup of 7. Defensive starters for Ron Rivera. Greg Hardy, career year for him. 11 sacks, had 2 of them last Sunday against Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. Linebacker, we mentioned Luke Kuechly. Thomas Davis, one of the more remarkable stories. Panthers recovered from 3 ACL tears in the same knee, his right leg. And the back end, Captain Munnerlyn making another start, 11th straight week after the injury to Chris Gamble. This is 3rd and short, and McFadden loses yardage. Thomas Davis forcing him out behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, you're talking about Thomas Davis. You just mentioned he's coming off his 3rd ACL reconstruction. Look at him, number 58. A great job also by Greg Hardy, number 76, not biting on that. But Thomas Davis to accelerate and knock Darren McFadden out of bounds on that play just shows how far he's come. What an amazing story.
And what Davis has done, unprecedented in pro sports. We'll get into his story as the day goes on. Joe Adams signals for the fair catch just out past the 10-yard line after a 41-yard punt from Shane Leckler. Cam Newton back onto the field when we come back. Game scoreless as we continue on first quarter here. 1st and 10. Cam Newton to D'Angelo Williams. And so far that Oakland defense, at least up front, trying to hold steady. Williams had a 76-yard touchdown run negated on a penalty, as Carolina shows a different look on that first down play.
Well, and keep in mind about this defense, Spero. This defense prior to last week, the weeks 9 through 14, they gave up over 35 points a game and over 438 yards a game. So this is a defense that's been shredded all year, but last week completely shut down Kansas City, and you get the feel like they're playing with a lot more confidence now.
Newton from the gun on 2nd and 13. A lot of velocity on that pass. It's caught by LaFell. Got a half-yard short of the first down marker. 12 yards through the air to set up a 3rd and short.
Well, Brandon LaFell has been a nice developing young player for the Carolina Panthers. You see right there, running a good solid hook route, giving Cam Newton his numbers to see. But LaFell, with his 2nd catch today, 36 catches on the year, really has kind of established himself as that 2nd receiver the Carolina Panthers have been looking for a long time for Steve Smith.
Smith looked like he had tweaked an ankle earlier. He's on the field at the bottom of your screen here on 3rd and 1 from the 21. They give to Tolbert, the fire hydrant of a fullback, pushes forward for the first down, 7 yards on the ground. And a 1st and 10 for the Panthers. How do you bring that guy down? Tolbert, you see the damage that he did last week, the 2 touchdowns against his former team. And look at Carolina's offense, Steve, on 3rd down since week 11.
Yeah, 3rd down, they've been fantastic on the year. They're the 10th best in the NFL on 3rd down, mainly because of how well they've played the last 4 weeks. Very, very significant stat. 3rd down and red zone, to me, are the most important offensive stats in football.
Gary Barnage, the tight end in motion. Newton play action on 1st and 10. Eludes Wheeler. He's got the first down. It's still going. Inside Oakland territory and finally brought down by Wheeler from the back. Wheeler just kept on coming, but not before Newton burns him for 29.
And let me tell you something. Wheeler is a fast linebacker. Watch Cam Newton just pull away from him once he decides to tuck it and go. It looks like right here Wheeler's going to be able to make the play. Cam Newton, a little stiff arm helped quite a bit as well, and Cam Newton is not going to run out of bounds if he feels like it's one-on-one. He's gonna take his chances of making one guy miss him in the open field every single time, and guess what? He's going to be right most of the time.
Sets up a 1st and 10. Newton again faking. Pitches to Williams. They're picking up another chunk of yardage. They'll move the chains again. 15 yards to Williams. Matt Giordano forced him out at the 28.
Well, the Panthers know you can never rely totally on the option in the NFL, but when you got a quarterback as athletic as Cam Newton, you sure can sprinkle it in once in a while. That was the zone read where it was actually a true triple option. He was reading the defensive end initially to decide whether to give it to the running back up the middle. He decided to keep it. Then he's taking it outside on the edge and reading the first defender to pitch that football. Great job by Cam Newton.
Mike Tolbert lines up in the rear of that I formation set. This is 1st and 10. Newton again under pressure. Eludes the grass. Marker thrown. It's incomplete. A second set of flags are thrown. Intended receiver was Greg Olsen. Well, Panthers have moved the football so far, but they have hurt themselves with the penalties so far in the quarter.
You can't really appreciate how strong Cam Newton is until you stand up next to him. You see how big he is, but then you see the way that these defenders get their hands on him, and he just physically rips himself away from their grasp. He does it every single week.
There were 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference, offense, number 84, blocking downfield. That penalty is declined. Holding, offense, number 62. That penalty is accepted. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
So Jeff Byers on the hold, and Ben Hartsock, the 3rd-string tight end, whistled on the interference, and the penalty yardage continues to pile up for Ron Rivera's Panthers.
Yeah, unfortunate. You know, you get a quarterback like Cam Newton. It's hard on those offensive linemen because they just don't know where he is a lot of times, and they think that he is going to throw the football. All of a sudden he starts running. They don't want to let someone get a clean shot at him, so sometimes they grab on and they get thrown the flag a lot of times.
This is 1st and 20, and Carolina going nowhere. Rogelio Hansen on the tackle. We get an update to New York, Green Bay, Tennessee.
Green Bay has already clinched the North, Shannon.
What make Aaron Rodgers so dangerous when he has nothing up the middle, 6 yards. Green Bay in front, 7-0 early over the Titans.
Packers have won 8 of their last 9, looking to keep the momentum going. Back to SPERO and Steve.
8 of 9, JB. Wow, that's, people keep forgetting about Aaron Rodgers and those Packers over there. They're gonna be ready to roll.
Newton on 2nd and 22 from the shotgun, airs it out, caught over the middle at the 23-yard line. It's Steve Smith. 7th straight season with 1,000 yards receiving. Did it last Sunday in San Diego as he was back in his native Southern California. 16 yards with Wheeler on the tackle.
Well, you look at Steve Smith. He's over 11,000 yards on his career. 27th player in NFL history to do that. Dennis Allen described him, I think, very appropriately. He said he's not very big. He's only about 5'9", maybe 5'10", but he plays like a big receiver because he's so physical and he's so fearless, and he will punish you when he's got the football in his hands.
Smith in his 12th season, 33 years of age. This is 3rd and 6 from the 23. Newton throwing on the run, end zone, touchdown! Steve Smith. Cam Newton to Smith, 23 yards, and the Panthers lead 6-0.
Well, you want to talk about physical. Watch it at the very end of this play. Watch it, that little push-off right there at the end. He's a veteran. He knows how to get away with it. The timing's perfect, but a big receiver, a lot of times, they know how to use that little push-off. Steve Smith, as we had just said, he plays like a big player. He gets physical. That's what gets him open a lot of times at the field, and he can finish.
Cam Newton with his 11th touchdown pass over the last 5+ weeks now.
And that was a great throw, by the way. We got to give Cam Newton credit. On the move, rolling to his right, putting that ball on the line to Steve Smith.
Point after attempt by Graham Gano is good. And the Panthers continue, despite some penalty issues early on. 7-0 lead over the Raiders. Timeout. 23-yard touchdown strike, Cam Newton to Steve Smith. And that's where we stand here in Charlotte. 7-0 Panthers. An impressive drive as they fight their way through some more penalties. 8 plays, 88 yards in just over 5 minutes. And Cam Newton continues on what has been an incredible 6-week stretch.
You know what we saw, SPERO, on that drive? We saw the versatility of this offense. Cam Newton having the physical ability to tuck it and go when things aren't there offensively. Then they sprinkled in the read option, as well as the ability to make plays in chunks in the passing game.
Mike Goodson, the former Panther, spent 3 years in Charlotte. Catches in the back of his own end zone for the touchback. Carson Palmer back onto the field from his own 20 when we come back. Well, the Oakland Raiders just 4-10 here in week 16 in Charlotte, down 7-0. Carson Palmer and company will try to answer. 1st and 10 from their own 20. Palmer with the defender right in his face, completes to the tight end. That's Brandon Myers, the 4th-year man out of Iowa, having a career season, forced out of bounds after a minimal pickup of 2 as we take another look at the 23-yard strike by Newton.
Well, there's Steve Smith in the slot right there. But watch right here, this matchup right there. That's Byron Bell, the right tackle against Houston. This is what forces Cam Newton out of the pocket, and the ability to throw that ball on a line, and Steve Smith to create the separation over Rogelio Hansen. That's what made the play. 2 great athletes stepping up.
Palmer goes a little play action on 2nd and 8. Denarius Moore, 2nd-year man out of Tennessee, their former 5th-round pick on the reception. Close to that 1st down marker as they need to get to about the 30, a pickup of 7. And with that, Carson Palmer becomes the 2nd Raider ever to throw for 4,000 yards in a season. We asked him about it yesterday. You see Rich Gannon, that MVP year in 2002, always deflecting praise, saying, you know, we're measured by wins, not stats. But he is on pace to have the best passing season in terms of yardage of his 10-year career. 3rd and short. Palmer, not a noted mobile quarterback, and he is crushed on the throw. Penalty marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage, and Palmer is hurt. Greg Hardy, the man who got him from the blind side.
That is really tough to watch. I mean, Carson Palmer, you hope he's okay. He brought that on himself. He knows better than to stand there that long as a veteran NFL quarterback. You cannot hold up.
Foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 76.
And it was,
Even with the helmet, quarterback.
it was roughing the
15-yard
passer.
penalty, automatic, 1st down.
It's roughing the passer, SPERO, and the fans don't like it. It's roughing the passer because he put his head down. He put his head down right in the back of Carson Palmer. You just hope that he can get up.
Good news is that Carson Palmer was able to walk off on his own power, but certainly looks woozy.
And another Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, Matt Leinart, coming in this year, 1 pass attempt on the season.
1st year with Oakland after a couple of years in Houston. This is Mike Goodson, the former Panther, right to midfield. As we take another look at the penalty, the official said that Greg Hardy, Steve, led with his helmet.
And there's no doubt that he did. You're going to see from the different angles, he definitely put his helmet down. He did not need to. Now, Carson Palmer had broken the pocket. A lot of people are arguing about that, but the bottom line is he is a quarterback. He was not advancing the football. He was looking to throw the ball down the field. He's defenseless, and there was no need for Hardy to put his head down and hit him in the back with his helmet. The referee will call that every single time.
Well, the game has certainly changed. 2nd and 3, Goodson trying to cut back. Working awfully hard for a minimal game of about 1.
And I can tell you this, I've been on the receiving end of hits like that before. They protected quarterbacks as well as they do now. And that, you're right, that for many, many years, for the history of the NFL, until about the last 8 to 9 years, that hit was a perfectly legal hit. But it is not anymore, and these players all know that. If you ask Greg Hardy, and he looks at the film, he will agree as well. You know what? I can't leave with my helmet. They all know that.
Hardy, 11 sacks, had 2 of them last Sunday in San Diego, as we told you. Leinart under center on 3rd and 2. Southpaw completes, but Marcel Reese jumped for a loss, and Oakland will punt. Thomas Davis on the coverage. So Leinart completes his first pass. Dennis Allen, talking about Terrell Pryor, said, you know, we've hadn't had a chance to look at him much. Just said he's not ready to be an every down type quarterback, so at least for the moment going with Leinart as they keep 3 quarterbacks active.
Yeah, very unique, and I think that paid off for Dennis Allen right here today already. Most teams, at the end of the quarter, most teams, though, if they play their 3rd quarterback and he's been deactivated, if he comes into the ball game, he has to finish the ball game.
So 23-yard touchdown, Cam Newton to Steve Smith. The difference, 7-0 after 1. For the second quarter here in Charlotte, 7-0 Panthers in front. There's Matt Leinart coming on in relief of Carson Palmer, who has been taken into the Raiders locker room there looking at his rib area. We'll try to get a further update as quickly as we can. Shane Leckler to punt. Joe Adams signaling fair catch at his own 15-yard line. So the Panthers offense back onto the field, up 7-0. At CBS, SPERO, DEDES, Steve Berline, our entire crew from Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium, 7-0 Panthers. First offensive possession of the second quarter, 1st and 10, and D'Angelo Williams is tripped up in the backfield by the middle linebacker, Omar Gaither.
Former Panther, Omar Gaither. Nice play, yeah, closing the gap there.
Also Charlotte native coming back home today.
That last drive, Spiro, Cam Newton, 6 of 7, 83 yards and a touchdown. 3 of 3, actually 3 of 3 on the last drive, 6 of 7 on the day. Steve Smith, Brandon LaFell, Greg Olsen all have 2 catches apiece, so Cam Newton doing a great job spreading that football around.
This is 2nd and 12. Newton play action, throwing off his back foot. Williams breaks a couple of tackles. What a play by Williams. Again, having a shoulder to load. No Jonathan Stewart, who's been out for nearly a month with that high ankle sprain. 9-yard pickup tackle made by Gaither.
Well, last week, similar play, screens to the left side. D'Angelo Williams took it 45 yards for a touchdown right here. Great athletic play by Cam Newton under pressure from Lamar Houston and Matt Shaughnessy, getting that ball off to D'Angelo Williams, who does the rest himself, showing that he still has that big play breakability. Philip Wheeler told us D'Angelo Williams is one of the toughest running backs in the league to tackle.
Yeah, just because of his running style, at low center of gravity. This is Newton on 3rd and 3. Starts to feel the pressure, completes again to LaFell. Brought down at the 23, but well short of the first down marker. Hansen, the man who was beaten on the Steve Smith touchdown on the tackle.
You know, that was a really smart, positive play, in my opinion, by Cam Newton. You saw how long he was holding that ball in the pocket. I love seeing his patience in the pocket, giving plays a chance to develop up the field, but he didn't force it. Backed up in his own end zone on 3rd and long. He made the good decision, took the check down, and says, you know what? We got a 7-point lead. Let's punt the football and get him next time.
Nortman on to punt from inside his 15-yard line. Adams will field it from the 25. A little pitch back play. But Carolina not fooled. Mike Mitchell actually loses yardage after the pitch, as they will spot it at the 24-yard line. 52-yard punt by Norman, and Oakland onto the field next. Raiders quarterback Carson Palmer still being looked at in the Oakland locker room. So Matt Leinart under center. Just 1 attempted pass in 1 appearance this season prior to today. Able to complete to Darren McFadden. And so depending on the extent of the injury, an opportunity here for Matt Leinart. And here moments ago, Carson Palmer putting the shoulder pads back on. Looks like he may try to return to this game.
Well, that would be impressive if, you know, Carson Palmer has been a tough guy many times over in his career. He is a warrior. He knows his team needs him. But Matt Leinart needs to step up if he can't come back and get it done.
This is 2nd and 9. Leinart play action. Airing it out over the middle. A hard hit at the 45. Darius Hayward-Bay on the reception as penalty markers fly. It's a 20-yard pass play as it stands now. And it's the same thing. They're going to call Josh Thomas, number 22, for leading with his helmet.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, hit on a defensive receiver, defense, number 59. 15-yard penalty after the end of the catch, automatic First down.
They called on Luke Kuechly, the middle linebacker. I thought it was Josh Thomas, the safety. Let's look at it again and see. The hit in the back is actually from, wow, geez, I don't think that even was. That's just Luke Kuechly coming in with his helmet. I think that was actually a really good hit by Luke Kuechly. His head was up, his face mask went into the chest of the wide receiver. You can't really avoid that. He was not leading with his head.
So a frustrating penalty. These fans voicing their displeasure. 1st and 10 from the 40. Inside Panthers territory. Leinart hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Moore the intended receiver. Frank Alexander applying the pressure as we head back to New York. JB and Shannon with an update.
Steelers not helping their call, Shannon.
No, JB. Big Ben threw an interception in overtime to lose the game. And here, Leon Hall, 17 yards. INT return for a touchdown. And the Bengals are in front early, 7-0 over the Steelers.
A Cincy win, and they're in the postseason. Back to Spero and Steve.
All right, guys, thanks. Postseason picture starts to materialize in the AFC. A big game there for Cincinnati. 2nd and 10, Leinart under center. McFadden crunched behind the line of scrimmage. Luke Kuechly on a hit from that middle linebacker spot. Kuechly among the best rookie seasons we've seen from a middle linebacker in recent memory. 2nd in the league in tackles.
This is why, boom, there's so much buzz about this guy. 3 times this year he's been over 15 tackles in a game. No other player in the NFL has done it more than once. That tells you what kind of impact this kid is making out there. And man, what a solid fundamental tackle that was. This kid is for real.
9th overall pick in the NFL draft as they push Oakland back now to 3rd and 12 from the 42. Leinart finds his man over the middle. It's caught. Derek Hagan on the reception. Huge first down play. 19 yards as Leinart moves the chains.
I'll give Greg Knapp, offensive coordinator, credit for the Oakland Raiders. The little step up by the running back forces the linebackers to step up. That leaves a big hole for Derek Hagan to slip in behind. Matt Leinart will not ever have an easier throw than that one over the middle of the field. Nobody around his wide receiver for a big pickup.
First meaningful action since Leinart early last season. 1st and 10. McFadden again, not much room to maneuver as we head back to New York in another update with JB and Shannon.
Tony Romo has been hot, Shannon.
He has, JB, but no one's been hotter than Dez Bryant. For the 7th straight game, for the 11th time this season. A touchdown, JB. 58-yarder. Tony Romo to Dez Bryant. 7-7, Saints Cowboys.
I'm sure Steve Berline can appreciate that hookup, that combination. Spero and Steve.
You're darn right, I appreciate it, JB. Cowboys are getting it rolling out there.
Playing well in the month of December. See that logjam at the top of the NFC East. 2nd and 8. Leinart. And will short arm shuffle over the middle to McFadden. Brought down at the 10. They go for 11 yards. And Oakland in business. It'll be 1st and goal from just, oh, they'll spot it now at the 11.
You know, Matt Leinart hasn't played much the last few years, like you stated earlier, Spero. But what I'm liking about him, I'm starting to see him in this very short period we've seen him play today. He's looking like a veteran quarterback. He's coming in here, he's calm, he's cool. He knows where his checkdowns are. He's delivering very catchable passes. I'm impressed.
Need to get to the 1. It's 1st and 10 from the 11. McFadden inside the 10. Kuechly on the tackle. Looks like one of the Panthers' middle linebackers slow to get to his feet. There's some hard collisions so far in the first half.
There's some popping going on. We got Terrell Pryor on the field as well with Matt Leinart. Dennis Allen told us yesterday that we'd probably see about 5 to 6 plays with Pryor on the field. They definitely want to work him in, and I think it's a good call down here in the red zone. They put Matt Leinart outside, Pryor at quarterback, because he is such a run threat inside.
Matt Leinart lined up in the bottom of your picture on 2nd and 8 from the 9. Pryor, and he's buried. And guess who? Luke Kuechly.
That's the one factor that the Raiders didn't consider. I knew it was going to be some kind of a play with Pryor running the football. You would expect it at least, but look at this tackle. I mean, there is no doubt that Terrell Pryor is not going to make another yard once Luke Kuechly arrives on the scene. He is so impressive.
Oakland needing to get to the 1 for the first down. It's 3rd and 6. Liner from the gun. It's caught. And this will depend on the spot. Kind of bobbled it, did Rod Streeter, the undrafted rookie out of Temple. They'll mark it at the 3-yard line. He's about 2 yards short. And what do you do here if you're Dennis Allen, a 4-10 team? And they will send out their field goal unit.
Yeah, I would not expect them to do anything different this early in the ball game. And again, Luke Kuechly was there to finish the play, not making the initial hit, but the praise. You remember what Thomas Davis told us yesterday? We talked to him, the other linebacker for the Panthers, said this guy just does not act like a normal rookie.
Janikowski, perfect from inside 40. That one, a little chip shot from 21, gets Oakland on the board. A 7-3 lead for the Panthers in the second.
SPERO, this is the Raider team that last week against Kansas City had only 5 field goals. Again, settling for the field goal. That's one of the things that's been frustrating Dennis Allen, the red zone offense.
Armand Smith will field it from about 7 yards deep in his own end zone. Or covered about 50 yards as he crosses the field. Forced out just inside the 20. See Carson Palmer back out from the locker room. 7-3 Carolina. Well, Carson Palmer during the timeout came back onto the field. Now is sorted back into the Oakland locker room. Initial x-rays on the ribs negative, but apparently they're going to take a second look at him as he is dealing with a lot of pain at the moment. 1st and 10. Newton's pass slightly behind Olsen. It's incomplete. And Carolina will have it 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Cam Newton's got to make this throw to Greg Olsen. Very nice play action setup. Olsen's as open as he can be on that quick slant inside, and Cam Newton would love to have that one back. He's been very accurate over the course of these last 5 weeks, especially. Right there's one he needs to complete.
Panthers looking for a 3rd straight win. They've won 3 of their last 4 as they enter the day at 5-9. 2nd and 10. Newton hit as he throws. Incomplete. You take away that long run by D'Angelo Williams that came back on the penalty, and this Oakland defense has held steady. A couple of mistakes in the secondary, but considering the injuries that they've had to deal with, Steve, they're holding their ground here, down 4.
Newton right there, SPERO, took an unnecessary hit from Mike Mitchell, the free safety. I think Cam was totally oblivious to the blitz from the secondary. Didn't even see it. He's fortunate he didn't get a rib shot on that play like Carson Palmer.
This will be 3rd and 10. Brandon LaFell in motion, bottom of your picture. Newton. Set. Desmond Bryant got there first for the Raiders. And now Newton doesn't appreciate the celebration right in front of him.
Well, I think the Raiders might get called for the initial penalty because they were celebrating over the top of Cam Newton, and the Panthers did not appreciate that.
Well, you saw how quickly the Panthers came to the defense of Newton.
Well, when we look at this again, which we will, Dennis Allen telling his team to keep their cool. This has been the trademark of the Raiders for many, many years. Losing their composure, making good plays, and then completely throwing them away by making dumb penalties, if that's what this call is.
Tommy Kelly trying to stay composed. Here's the penalty.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 93. 15-yard penalty after the end of the play, automatic first down.
You know, Dennis Allen, one of the biggest challenges he's going to have, and he admitted to us yesterday, is changing the culture of this organization. You see the sack, they make the nice play, and then watch what happens here. They get up, they start celebrating and taunting, and then right there, Cam did kick him, reacted back to Tommy Kelly, but watch the push right here at the end of the play, right there.
You know, if I'm
Cam
Tommy
Newton,
Kelly,
yeah,
I'm not sure how you can react better.
Well, Cam Newton reacted to Tommy Kelly initially, I think. Watch right here at the end of the play, a little extra push.
There's nothing Kelly that he did
Cam
before
Newton
that.
was the instigator.
Cam Newton very fortunate that he wasn't flagged there.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. I thought that was initiated by the Raiders, but that I stand corrected.
Raiders involved in that altercation back in Week 12 in Cincinnati. Lamar Houston whistled on that play after tackling Andy Dalton. It led to a fight between those two teams. But
Timeout, Oakland. They're first.
It still is a poise issue for the Raiders, so you cannot retaliate. That's one of the first lessons you learn when you come into the NFL. Well, back in Carolina, let's take a look one more time at this last controversial play. Sack made by the Oakland Raiders, and Cam Newton really is the one that initiates. You see right there, that foot goes up, and look, it is no doubt his initiation. Now, Tommy Kelly has got to show poise and not retaliate in the Raiders in general, but Cam Newton, he needs to be careful because we know all the attention Ndamukong Suh has gotten with the Detroit Lions for kicking people. Cam Newton is going to probably get reprimanded for that for sure, and he's going to surely get labeled by a lot of the defensive players in the NFL.
It's a huge penalty as Oakland's defense was basically off the field, and instead the penalty gives the Panthers a 1st and 10. We mentioned the incident between Oakland and the Bengals in Cincy. This was Week 12. After a false start, Lamar Houston tackling Andy Dalton. And then tempers flare. Houston and Tommy Kelly both ejected. 4 Raiders were fined by the NFL. Now that was kind of a different scenario here. Cam Newton got away with one.
But it is a poise issue.
No doubt.
It's an organization issue that they have to address. It takes time, though.
On 2nd and 11, Newton finds Steve Smith for a pickup of 7. Smith, a 23-yard touchdown grab earlier. There's Dennis Allen. A huge undertaking with he and the new general manager Reggie McKenzie trying to change a long culture of losing, and also trying to bring in different types of players. For a long time they just went out and brought out the best athletes, high talent guys. He wants high character guys.
And he said he wants guys that love the game, that are willing to work, and that are all about the team. And it's hard weeding out the bad influences that are in there, but he's trying to do the best he can.
Newton on 3rd and 4. Completes to his man. It's a 1st down at the moment. Brandon LaFell on the catch. Penalty marker thrown from the secondary. It's a 12-yard hookup, at least for the moment, as we await the penalty.
Holding, defense number 34. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
And Mike Mitchell guilty of the hold on that play, but the Panthers able to complete the pass anyway for a nice pickup. And the change of movement, and you're right, Spero, that penalty that really should not have been called in both of our opinion on the Raiders kept the drive alive and has given the Panthers new life here.
D'Angelo Williams lines up in the offset eye to the right. Here's an end around play. Joe Adams, the rookie out of Arkansas, trying to turn the corner inside Oakland territory. Tackle made by Mitchell after Adams goes for 6. Tomorrow it's Christmas Eve, and 2 Broke Girls are unwrapping their special brand of holiday cheer. Celebrate the holiday with 2 Broke Girls tomorrow, only CBS. Happy holidays here from Charlotte. Bank of America Stadium, 2nd and 4. Cam Newton and the Panthers on the field, up 7-3, late stages, 1st half. And they'll spot it here from the Oakland 48. Panthers with all 3 of their timeouts. Here's Newton. Again, feeling the pressure and another hard collision. Miles Burris, the linebacker, with a crushing hit on Greg Olsen, and another marker is thrown right at the line of scrimmage.
Now, this it looks like it might be called against Miles Burris for the hit again. And it's gone both ways as far as that goes. The Panthers have been called a couple of times.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense. We'll have to helmet-to-helmet contact on a defensive receiver. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Again, they say helmet-to-helmet contact.
And the rules are very clear. The rules are very clear in the NFL now. And if you haven't figured it out, it is a point of emphasis.
Well, Steve, from that
right
angle,
there, that angle right there did not look to me like it was helmet to helmet. You're right.
That looks like a textbook tackle as Burris had his helmet to the left side, leading with the right shoulder.
Right, and the referee from outside on Burris's left made the call where he couldn't really see that contact. I believe if an official is not in a clear position to see that kind of a play, he shouldn't throw the flag.
Well, there was a controversial call earlier on Carolina's Greg Hardy on that crushing blow of Carson Palmer, who's still being looked at in the Raiders locker room.
But in my opinion, that really wasn't controversial. That was as textbook as it gets. He put his head down right into the back of a quarterback who's even going to be more protected. But there have been a couple of the Luke Kuechly hit that they called against the Carolina Panthers, and also that one right there against Burris. I think both of those were questionable.
And with that, we reach the 2-minute warning here in Charlotte. 7-3. Dennis Allen's defense just can't get off the field. Back inside Bank of America Stadium, 7-3 your score with the Panthers driving. They've gained 50 yards on this current drive. As you can see, 30 have come on the 2 Oakland penalties. Last one on the helmet-to-helmet hit by the linebacker Miles Burris. This is 2nd and 9 from the 30. Barnage in motion. Newton fakes the handoff. Flushed out. He'll throw it out of bounds. Forced out by Lamar Houston as now tempers flaring on that Panthers sideline. Nice job by Houston to kind of pull back.
You know, there comes a point where I think the referees here are making the right call. You can't throw a flag every time there's a hit. Was this a little bit unnecessary? Yeah, no doubt. But was it dirty? I don't believe at all. He's on the field of play. He didn't wrap up. Cam was stringing the play out as long as he could, and Houston's kind of committed already to him. He was already angled toward hitting Cam Newton. He didn't finish him off and throw him to the ground.
No, it looks worse when you look at it.
Oh, it looked for
on the
sure.
slow-mo replay.
But it's a contact game. I mean, that was not an extenuating circumstance play, I don't think.
3rd and 9. Newton again hit as he throws. It's nearly caught and then nearly picked through the hands of Smith. And Matt Giordano nearly had the tipped interception.
Well, this is the worst decision I think that Cam Newton has made in several weeks, to even think about trying to fit this ball in to Steve Smith under the pressure he was under. That ball should have been intercepted by Giordano.
Nice play by Michael Huff, Steve, the 7th-year cornerback.
It was very good coverage, and that ball should not have been thrown anywhere near Steve Smith because of that coverage by Michael Huff.
So here is now Graham Gano onto the field. Signed a contract in late November. This is just his 5th game with the Panthers. So far has been perfect, 5 for 5 on field goals. This one from 48 yards. Giordano has the distance, but he's wide right.
That's Gano's first miss of the year. As you said, SPERO, Dennis Allen's got to like that. He's going to have his troops with good field position here now as a result of the miss. This ball just started out right. These kickers, most of the time, they play for that slide hook to the right. There's no wind whatsoever inside the stadium. The ball just did not hook to the right. Or to the left, I mean. They play it outside the right edge of the uprights normally on those longer kicks, and it usually comes right back in.
So Oakland still with time here. They've got 2 timeouts, minute 41 on the clock. Carson Palmer, as we told you earlier, left the game after a crunching hit, being looked at in the Oakland locker room. X-rays initially negative, so Matt Leinart onto the field. His first meaningful game action of the season and in over a year. That one thrown behind the intended man, Denarius Moore. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, one of the hardest things about being a backup quarterback, and I know because much of my career, a lot of my career, I was in a backup quarterback position. When you come in and you're not getting the reps in practice, you don't know exactly how those receivers are going to react. Right there, it looked to me like Matt Leinart expected Denarius Thomas to sit down in that hole. Denarius Thomas read it totally different.
Leinart, there's very disappointing 4 years in Arizona. Last couple with Houston. Low pass on 2nd down, incomplete. Strader trying to make the shoestring catch. It's just a bad throw by Leinart.
And it was a bad call by me, and that it's Denarius Moore, not Denarius Thomas. My fault. Denarius Moore, who I really do like as a wide receiver. I just had a different name in my head for some reason.
We saw Terrell Pryor looking on from the sideline. 3rd and 10 as they spotted here from the Oakland 38.
And depending on how aggressive Greg Knapp, offensive coordinator, wants to be, he could have given Carolina another chance to get the ball back here.
They're going to throw it, and it's intercepted by Kuechly. Kuechly on his feet, brought down at the 30, and now Carolina in business. All 3 timeouts left and a minute 21 remaining as Kuechly brings it back 25 yards.
Here's Kuechly right here on the screen. You cannot do this if you're Matt Leinart. You know you're in a 3rd and long situation at the end of the half. You're a veteran quarterback. Your team is in this ball game. You cannot make the bad mistake and give the opposition, the Carolina Panthers, good field position right here. Luke Kuechly makes him pay for making a very shaky decision. Matt Leinart is not in a position to make plays like that late in the season here. He's got a chance to play for the Oakland Raiders. He's got to play well to make a statement that he can still play in this league.
2nd interception for the stud rookie linebacker under Ron Rivera. Newton onto the field, 1st and 10. Completes to Williams. Williams still going inside the 20, across the 10, and brought down finally by Hansen on a touchdown saving tackle after a pickup of 22.
Well, I fault the Raiders defensive preparation totally for this right here. This is the play that the Panthers have made a lot of money on the last few weeks. A screen pass to DeAngelo Williams off the left side. That's where they like to run this play. They should know whenever DeAngelo Williams is on the left side and Cam Newton drops back, screen is an option. They've got to react better.
Well, Williams has been so dangerous for the Panthers today after a season-best 93 yards rushing last Sunday. This is 1st and goal. Newton throwing, completes to the 3. That's Olsen. Tackle made by Burris. As Oakland will use a timeout, Carolina rather, with 28 seconds to play before halftime. Another reminder coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. We'll send you to New York. JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher will have all the latest scores and highlights. Week 16 of the NFL season. It's all to come on the Verizon Halftime Report.
And the Panthers are the 6th best team in the red zone in terms of touchdown percentage. This is an area they've been very strong this year.
Newton from the gun, 2nd and goal, throwing end zone, incomplete. Trying to find LaFell. It'll be 3rd and goal coming up.
And I don't know if I really like the strategy here right now. I'm sure there's a good reason for the Carolina Panthers, but there with their timeouts and everything else, they don't have to throw it every down. You know, you got the running quarterback Cam Newton, who's been known to run in these situations by design. They've also got DeAngelo Williams on the field. You know, you could try and run the ball up inside, knowing you've got 2 timeouts left. Now it's 3rd down from the 3-yard line. Again, it's still a good run or pass option in this situation. We'll see which way Ron Rivera decides to go.
Rob Trzynski calling the plays. This is 3rd and goal from the Raiders 3. Newton gonna try to run it, and he's in. Late marker thrown right at the goal line.
I think it's again one of those situations where the linemen, it looks like the Panthers are celebrating.
Holding Defense, number 52. That penalty decline. Touchdown.
I thought we were looking at a Panthers holding call right there, because a lot of times when a quarterback scrambles, linemen don't know that. But again, the Raiders did not have the poise. They made the penalty. Cam Newton took it into the house anyway.
So the interception by Luke Kuechly sets the table for Newton. And Carolina builds its lead to 10 with the extra point pending. So just when you thought the Raiders were holding steady, it was a 4-point game. Before the Leinart interception, Graham Gano boots in the point after. And it's 14-3 Panthers.
And no one knows more than Matt Leinart how significant that mistake is. You see Cam Newton, he just got so much confidence in his ability to buy time and make things happen. And you know, he knows darn well exactly where that goal line is at all times. He knows if nothing's there, throwing the football, he can tuck it and most likely find his way in most of the time.
Oh, breaking the action gives us a chance to remind you that Saturday, one of the great rivalries in all of sport goes off again when John Calipari's Kentucky Wildcats take on Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals. It all begins when CBS Sports presents 75 years of March Madness behind the mic, and that'll be followed by a coach's perspective. Don't miss NCAA men's college basketball on CBS Sports. Included there a conversation with Christian Laettner as he talks about that incredible 1992 game between Duke and Kentucky, perhaps the greatest game in NCAA tournament history. Also hear from the men who have called the Final Four over the years. Something to look forward to coming up next Saturday. So 14-3 Panthers, 17 seconds remaining. Raiders do have the 2 timeouts. In case you've just joined us, the story early, Carson Palmer leaving the game after taking this blow to the midsection. Greg Hardy, who was whistled for a penalty, bleeding with his helmet, according to the officials. Initial x-rays were negative, but Palmer right now still in the Oakland locker room. And so Matt Leinart, who had attempted just 1 pass before today, on in relief. One Heisman Trophy winner for another. And Leinart, you know, of course, has been such an easy target in what has been a heartily disappointing career. But Steve, you wonder how many reps he got at all this week with Terrell Pryor getting a look. Darren McFadden and company will just run out the clock.
But you know what, on that note, Spero, it doesn't matter. When you're a backup quarterback in the NFL, you've got to step in and be ready to play. You can't use that as an excuse. Matt Leinart knows it. I expect him to come out and play better in the second half.
So 14-3, Luke Kuechly on the 25-yard interception return to set the table for Newton late. And that's where we stand. Steve Smith, a 23-yard touchdown play on the first touchdown. 14-3 at halftime. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. You're listening to a Pepsi anthem by Ice Cube. Download this and other NFL-inspired anthems at PepsiAnthems.com. Happy holidays from Charlotte. 14-3 your halftime score as we welcome you back to Bank of America Stadium. The NFL on CBS continuing. Spero DEDES alongside Steve BEUERLEIN. A lot happened in that first half. Costly penalties for both teams. Carson Palmer, the big injury for Oakland. Still not sure of what his status will be, but Carolina in some ways fortunate to be up here by 11.
No doubt. They're aided by a couple of questionable calls, as you said, Spero, but the bottom line is that they are outplaying the Raiders a little bit. Cam Newton, 142 yards, 13 of 19 completions. The big one here to Steve Smith, rolling to his right and putting it on the money for the touchdown. And then when they take away the passing game, he can run it in from short yardage. Matt Leinart threw the big interception that gave the Panthers a chance to score that touchdown at the end of the first half. That really is the difference in the ball game right now. That big turnover at the end is what gave the Raiders a chance to jump out to this 11-point lead.
We have a Luke Kuechly interception that Steve mentions. He returned to 25 yards as Matt Leinart warming up. Looks like he'll be the starter for the Raiders, at least to begin the third quarter. Again, the initial x-rays on the ribs of Carson Palmer came back negative. He came back onto the sideline and then was escorted back into the locker room. That's the last we've heard on Palmer. So here comes Matt Leinart. Third different team in his 7 years as Carson now is back on the sidelines, at least for the moment. But every one of his movements, Steve, you can see him kind of grimace in pain.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling. They probably, most likely, they've tried to identify the spot of the injury so they could maybe try and make that pain go away a little bit. But we just got word that he will not return to this ballgame.
So there you have it. It's Matt Leinart's show. Also Terrell Pryor, of course, to change up the formation look for Oakland. But Raiders offense was able to generate just a field goal in the first half. You see the one turnover late and total yardage of nearly 200 for the Panthers.
Yep, turnover was the key, and then of course, you know, penalties have kind of favored the Panthers in terms of 5 penalties. Raiders only 2. A couple of them were declined by the Panthers, but they've been key significant penalties for the Raiders.
2nd and 10. McFadden barely able to cross the 20. Also keep in mind that 76-yard touchdown run by D'Angelo Williams very early in the game that was called back on a holding penalty.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We kind of forgot about that. That was a huge penalty, but definitely a penalty on Steve Smith. He made the mistake. That cost the Panthers a very early touchdown and early control of this ball game.
Oakland now faced with a 3rd and 9 as Pryor looks on. Raiders just 4 and 10, looking for back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Leinart finding Moore, and he is buried at the line of scrimmage. Luke Kuechly leading the charge. And this young man, the 21-year-old rookie, continues what has been an incredible first year in the NFL.
Well, Ron Rivera said the thing that makes him so impressive and so hard to block is his first step. His first step, whether it's right or whether it's wrong, it's aggressive and it's downhill. He's going to make action. Does he sometimes bite on play action? Yes, he does. But when you're running the football, if he knows what he's doing, he's going to get there and make a play.
We asked Ron Rivera if he's ever had a rookie middle linebacker have the kind of impact that Kuechly has had. As Adams dances across the 20, a fumble on the play. No word yet, and now they say Raiders football. And that's the break that Dennis Allen was looking for. Richard Gordon, the man who fell on it. 61-yard punt, and Adams coughs it up at the end of a 15-yard run back.
Well, just a little too much dancing at the end. When you're returning punts, I like the confidence, I like the aggressiveness. You get it up in there, get what you can get, but there comes a point of diminishing returns where you try to squeak out those extra couple of yards. If you're not sure to protect that football, there's a lot of guys coming to get it.
So Matt Leinart and company will come right back onto the field again. If you've just joined us, as Steve mentioned about a couple of minutes ago, Carson Palmer will not return. Took a shot to the ribs, x-rays negative, but just under too much pain.
And I would love right here, SPERO, to see Greg Knapp, the coordinator for the Raiders, take a shot, play action up the field.
McFadden faking the handoff, and Reese tackled right after the catch. Thomas Davis from his outside linebacker post dumps him for a loss of 3.
What can you say about this guy? I mean, we've documented, talked about the comeback he's made from the 3 ACL reconstructions, but he's a smarter football player now in the league, been in the league for a long time. This is his 8th year. He's making up for what he might be lacking explosive-wise with knowledge and understanding and preparation. And man, does he work hard, love to play football.
Well, he has talked about in reverential terms around the Panthers facility, the 3 ACL tears in his right leg over 23 months. Marker thrown at the line of scrimmage. McFadden makes the catch. Got to about the 32 before they pushed him back. We'll await the penalty. McFadden so far a non-factor with just 11 yards rushing. And this one against the Raiders.
Illegal shifts, offense, 2 men moving, number 45, never got set prior to the snap. That penalty is declined. Third down.
Well, the frustrated look by Dennis Allen tells the story.
You see the two guys moving right there. Marcel Reese up here at the top is the one that he said never got set. Now, his feet did come to rest, but kind of a little bit of a technicality there. He's got to be set for a second before the ball is snapped.
Mike Goodson, the former Panther, lines up in the backfield on 3rd and 11 next to Leonard. A screen pass again, and the Raiders going backwards. Late marker throwing. Davis again. There for Carolina.
Offense, number 68. That penalty is declined.
Ron Rivera saying he actually wants to take the penalty. Let's listen to this popping going on here. Wow. Boy, a lot of guys coming to get that football as well, and Ron Rivera decides he wants to put the Raiders out of field goal range. The right decision, even though it was going to be 4th down. Move them back, and right now from this position would be about a 61-yard field goal, which I think Dennis Allen would let Sebastian Janikowski attempt. He's already attempted a 64-yarder this year that he missed.
Hit one from 57 last week. 3rd and 11 after the penalty from the 43. Leonard kind of stumbles a bit, finds Myers, but Oakland just can't get it down the field. Captain Munnerlyn on the tackle.
And here comes, well, this is Leckler coming out on the field, it looks like.
Now Oakland will punt.
Yeah, that would be about it would be the 61-yard kick. I'm surprised. Sebastian Janikowski, he's made 42 career field goals to 50 yards or more. That's tied for 2nd all time with the former Panthers kicker John Casey.
And Shane Leckler, one of the all-time great punters, boots it inside the 20. Well placed inside the 10. They'll mark it at the Panthers 8. 14-3 as Cam Newton comes back on the field. So the Raiders unable to take advantage of the Carolina fumble punt. And now Cam Newton onto the field on 1st and 10 from inside their own 10. High pass off the fingertips of Colbert. Coverage on the play by Ross. And here are the first half possessions for Cam Newton. Throwing one to Steve Smith and then ran one in.
They're only 1 3 and out in there, which is great. That means they're converting their 3rd down opportunities. And Rob Chudzinski right there showing confidence in Cam Newton. You know, Cam Newton has earned the confidence of his coaching staff by not throwing an interception in 152 consecutive passes coming into this game. If you show a coach you can be counted on, they'll let you throw the ball in some precarious situations.
2nd and 10. Boy, Newton barely able to elude the safety. It was Miles Burris who had him wrapped up. But getting to Newton is only the first issue that you have. Then bringing him down is an entirely different story at 245 pounds.
And 6'5". Miles Burris had a clean shot, the 4th round draft choice out of San Diego State. He cannot believe he didn't make that tackle. But you watch the film, Cam Newton does it to people every single week. He can actually bust and not know when he's supposed to get rid of the football and still make you pay the price as a defense.
So 3rd and 5, they spotted at the 12. Newton has time to throw, completes right at the 1st down marker. And it's Louis Murphy on the reception. Facing the Raiders for the first time, was a starter for Oakland for 3 years.
And Louis Murphy has got a great relationship with Cam Newton. He did get it up for the 1st down. Louis Murphy and Cam Newton were together at the University of Florida. And they've known each other for a lot of years. We'll see exactly where this spot was, if it was accurate. It looked to me like he definitely got it. You know, it's right in that 18-yard line area. The referee's right on top of it. So
well, Newton said that Murphy has had a huge impact on him, big influence on him. Both the son of a preacher, they share the same birthday. Teammates in Florida, as Steve pointed out, in 2007 before Newton left. Of course, wound up at Auburn, winning the Heisman Trophy. And right now trying to lead the Panthers to a 3rd straight win and what would be their 4th win in the last 5 weeks after that very disappointing start to the season.
And Ron Rivera came out publicly and stated that he felt as though his team had to win these last 2 games in order to eliminate any doubt as to whether or not he'd return as the Panthers coach. I personally think the world of Ron Rivera. I think he's doing a really good job with his football team, and it's starting to pay off now.
Newton fakes the handoff on 2nd and 6. Again evades the sack. Wrapped up as he throws. It's nearly picked. Second time Newton has tried to force one in. And that one through the hands of Miles Burris.
Well, Burris is all over the place. Kind of like Luke Kuechly on the other side. These 2 rookies are making their presence known. The problem and the difference is that Burris is not quite making these plays when he's getting the opportunity.
Burris missed out on a safety of Newton a moment ago. And that time dropped it, kind of ran out of real estate on the sideline.
Cam Newton's got to be careful now. You know, it's the 2nd pass that we've seen him throw up for grabs, kind of in a little bit of pressure situation. You see right there, his streak is now to 174 passes.
Already a franchise record, incomplete here, trying to find LaFell. Marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage, and Newton's hurt.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 90. Low block into the knee of the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's Desmond Bryant starting a 7th straight game for the injured Richard Seymour, flagged.
And let's see exactly what happened here. There was some communication issues between LaFell and Cam Newton. Looks like Desmond Bryant just goes low at Cam Newton's knees. You know, the problem was he was getting blocked, but you saw him launch himself into the knee area of Cam Newton. I think that's what kind of drew the flag. The referee knows if you're getting blocked into a guy low, a lot of times he will not call that, but if you launch yourself, meaning you're trying to get there, they'll call it.
2nd time today, as Williams is stopped behind the line of scrimmage, that the Oakland defense has gotten themselves off the field seemingly before they've been flagged for a personal foul penalty. We remind you, for complete pro football coverage, including everything you need to know from this weekend's matchups, all the way through to Super Bowl 47, visit cbssports.com/NFL.
SPERO, both those penalties you're talking about, that one right there, I don't fault Desmond Bryant for the effort. He was just trying to get there, just trying to explode and make a play. The one at the end of the 1st half, we agreed was a bad call. Cam Newton should have been called for that one.
Keep it on the ground on 2nd and 11. That's D'Angelo Williams. Tackle made by Gaither, Charlotte native, former Panther, spent 2011 here in Carolina. Man who replaced Rolando McClain, who came in with the high hopes 3 years ago. McClain inactive today, someone we haven't talked about. This will be a 3rd and 8 play. They spot it at the 39. Mike Tolbert, the fullback, lines up with a slot. Newton going sideline. It's caught. What a throw by Newton. It's a 1st down for the Panthers. Murphy on the reception. Pick up at 12. There's a marker down, and it's coming back.
Number 62. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
2nd time that Jeff Byers has been hit with a penalty today.
And that underscored a tremendous effort by Cam Newton right there. We're going to circle Byers right here for you. He's in the middle of the screen. He's starting in place of Jeff Handgartner, who was starting in place of Ryan Khalil, and he tackles Bryant. Bryant trying to get the flag and happy to get it for sure. It underscored a tremendous effort by Cam Newton making a throw across the field, across his body, across the field, off his back foot. That would have been a conversion.
So 3rd and 18 after the penalty. Newton flushed out. Put some mustard on it, but it's incomplete. Matt Giordano there for the Raiders. So once again, a bend but don't break philosophy for the Raiders defense as they finally get themselves off the field.
I'll give Dennis Allen and the Raiders credit here. This is a team that is playing hard right now. They're playing with great effort. Matt Giordano did a great job breaking on that football. That was a really nice play on a ball that was whistling from Cam Newton. He can make that ball move a lot faster than most quarterbacks, even in this league.
And Steve, I know that fans don't want to hear about it considering the amount of money that these guys make, but from a coach's perspective, keeping guys motivated for a team that's out of contention late in the season is awfully difficult to do. As Denarius Moore dumped down right after the catch. Colin Jones getting there first for the Panthers, a 55-yard punt, and Denarius Moore going nowhere. To fans here in Charlotte, right now rooting on their Panthers, up 14-3, late stages, third quarter. This is Matt Leinart honoring relief of Carson Palmer, who left the game, will not return with a rib cage injury. Or can the Raiders generate some offense? Well, coming into this game, it was just the 14th starting quarterback matchup between former Heisman Trophy winners. Then Leinart came in. He won it, of course, in 2004. There's Carson on the sideline, done for the day. First time since 1991 that we've had 3 of them play in the same game. Uncharted territory as McFadden held under reps all day long. Luke Kuechly running him out of bounds.
Man, he can cover some ground, can he? I mean, it looked like McFadden got to the edge there and Kuechly just slams that door shut. One of the things that the Raiders are going to have to do, we're going to look at this here real quick, watch him close the gap. McFadden is a fast dude, by the way, and he finishes it with authority every time. But the Raiders, Matt Leinart is 4 of 4 in this half for 0 yards. They're throwing these little dink and dunk screen passes. They got to get more aggressive, let Matt Leinart try and make some plays up the field. Let's see if he can do it.
You see McFadden non-factor today, just 11 yards on 11 takes. Leinart throws for the first down. It's Streeter, the undrafted rookie, so they're finally able to move the chains after punting on their first 2 possessions of the third quarter.
Well, Rod Streeter, as you said, the undrafted rookie, he's actually been the leading rookie receiver in the month of December with 258 yards in the month of December coming into this game. And a lot of big games, gone over 100 yards a couple of times and really established himself as a good young prospect.
Second reception on the day for Streeter, that one for 12 yards. First and 10 from the 28. Here's Goodson. McFadden hasn't been able to do much, so they give to Goodson here to give him a different look. Addison on the tackle. Goodson acquired in the trade between these 2 franchises back on March the 30th. Spent 3 years of his career here with the Panthers, was buried behind D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Ron Rivera said we like him, we just couldn't find a spot for him.
And they picked up Mike Tolbert.
Second and 7. McFadden back in. Oh, you touched on it earlier. When Darren McFadden has been healthy, a lot of people feel like he's one of the top 3, 4, 5 running backs in the NFL, but today, just no running room against this Carolina defense.
Yeah, there are a few running backs in the league that are respected more going into each season as the guy that you can really look to have a breakout year than Darren McFadden, but it seems like every single year something comes up to keep him from getting that full season in. So we really don't know what he can do over the course of a full year.
Huge play here. Oakland trying to get back in the game. 3rd and 4 from the 34. Leinart caught by Goodson. He's got the first down across the 40. Captain Munnerlyn on the tackle after a pickup of 8 and a Raiders first down.
Oh, nice conversion by the Raiders. Dennis Allen likes that. Ball, those short throws a lot of times with the running back coming across the field, those are hard to put in a catchable spot against tight coverage. Matt Leinart showing the good touch, good accuracy, but I still believe if the Raiders want to get the ball into the end zone, Matt Leinart's going to have to make some plays up the field.
Leonard in his 7th NFL season. Going play action, 1st and 10. Inside Panthers territory, it's incomplete. Hagan the intended man. Tight coverage by Charles Godfrey, the 5th-year safety. Well, no one knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Steve BEUERLEIN and the guys from the studio.
Yeah, Rich, Gannon, Phil Simms, and myself will have a lot to talk about tomorrow, along with Adam Shine, our host. A lot of good action this time of year in the NFL.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion. McFadden trying to cut it back. At the edge sealed by DJ Campbell, the rookie out of Cal. And their 7th-round pick, starting a 3rd consecutive game today for Ron Rivera. And now the Raiders faced with a 3rd and long.
The Raiders have done a pretty good job controlling the 2 defensive ends for the Panthers. Greg Hardy and Charles Johnson. They're the only tandem of pass rushers in the NFL with both over 10 sacks on the season. The Raiders are very concerned about whether they can block them or not.
3rd and 11. Leonard throwing incomplete. But that one hitting Darius Hayward-Bay between the 8 and 5 on his jersey. Coverage by Josh Thomas. And Oakland will punt for the 3rd time in the quarter.
Super nice break on the ball right there by Josh Thomas. He got the right as the ball was getting there, timed perfectly. And that's one of the questions, though, about Matt Leinart. You know, the arm strength has been questioned. Those are the kind of balls that really have to be humming in there in order to get to that wide receiver.
Monty Edwards signals late for the fair catch inside the 10. Shane Leckler continuing to do it for the Raiders, but they need points. Down 11. Carolina Panthers 5-9, looking for a 3rd straight win. They've won back-to-back games for the first time this season, leading the Raiders 14-3 late 3rd quarter here in Charlotte. 1st and 10, they go Wildcat to D'Angelo Williams. 2nd time we've seen this today as Marker flies behind the line of scrimmage. Tackled by Burris.
It looks like they might have called something on Cam Newton motioning out there.
Illegal motion, offense. The quarterback started in motion, never got set. Half the distance to the goal, replay, 1st down.
Well, never got set. So, you know, I got to see exactly what the heck the problem was, because if he was just going in motion, he doesn't have to get set. As long as he's a player in motion, you can do that with a quarterback as well. It just depends on what the rest of the formation was doing. Maybe maybe there were 2 guys moving at one time, and then he would have to definitely get set.
So 1st and 14 after the penalty. Tolbert, the lone setback, takes it from Newton over center. And brought down at about the 7, maybe the 8-yard line. Miles Burris getting there as we take a look at the updated AFC playoff picture entering today. Cincinnati in the big one in Pittsburgh right now, up 10-7, but the Steelers driving in the red zone. Cincy wins and they're in. Steelers trying to stay alive, 7-7. Even the Dolphins still mathematically in the hunt at this point at 6-8. With just 1 weekend left in the regular season. What a catch by Steve Smith, just snatching it out of the air with one hand. But Hansen dumps him down as they actually lose 2 yards.
Yeah, this is a call, again, it's almost like running a reverse backed up in your own end zone. It's just a little bit dicey, if you ask me, because if the defender comes up and breaks on that football, you're basically giving them points. Steve Smith, that ball was not thrown very accurately. It could easily have been tipped and intercepted. A great job, as you said, SPERO, of Steve Smith pulling it in.
So 3rd and 12 play, they'll put Newton in the shotgun. From his own end zone, it's tipped and intercepted. Burris isn't dropping that play. Inside the 20. And now Oakland back in business. They were unable to take advantage of the fumbled punt earlier, but they get another chance as we reach the end of the third quarter.
Make sure if he got this football. Yep. No doubt about it. He's cradling that football. And the streak comes to an end for Cam Newton.
And with that, we've reached the end of the third quarter. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the fourth quarter, 14-3 Carolina, as Cam Newton's franchise record streak of 176 passes without a pick ends. Miles Burris on the interception. So Matt Leinart under center, 1st and 10 inside the 20. McFadden across the 15 down to the 13-yard line. As we take another look at the interception tipped off the hands of Newton.
It's just a bad decision by Cam Newton. He's thrown about 3 passes today that have been questionable decisions, and finally he pays the price. You make 2 or 3 mistakes in the NFL like that, at some point these guys are so good they're going to make you pay. And that's the thing that Cam Newton's been doing so well for these last 5 games. He's thrown very few balls that have even had a chance to be intercepted.
And now the question, can the Raiders get it in the end zone? I'll have to avoid the penalties.
Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
It's Cooper Carlisle, the 13th year veteran.
A veteran that I played with, teammate of mine with the Denver Broncos back in the early part of the century. And uncharacteristic mistake right there, but the Raiders are the 31st ranked team in the red zone in the NFL as far as touchdown percentage. Dennis Allen sits in an area they really got to improve.
2nd and 9. Leinart. Incomplete. Unable to locate Moore. And it will be 3rd and 9 for the Raiders. I mentioned the long streak for Cam Newton, his franchise record. And look who's 3rd on that list. Steve BEUERLEIN, at Pro Bowl year of 1999.
Held that record for about 7 years.
I enjoyed seeing your picture up in their facility yesterday, up on that Hall of Fame. 3rd and 9.
Big play for the Raiders here.
Spotted back at the 17. Leinart. It's incomplete. Boy, Streeter had it and looked to make his move, and now a marker comes in. How many of these have we had in this game on both sides? This has been a physical game.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 30. Hit on a defenseless receiver. Pass it distance to the goal, automatic 1st down.
Well, you know, we were told in our seminar this year before the season, SPERO, the CBS NFL seminar, that this was going to be called an awful lot more than it ever has, and it sure has this year. There's no doubt that is a head-to-head shot. Charles Godfrey coming in and making this hit, head down, directly to the helmet. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that is going to be called. The fans can boo all they want. People at home can get as mad as they want. The rule states that will be called, and the referees have been mandated to do it.
Well, Godfrey got him above the shoulder pads, right into the helmet. As Terrell Pryor comes in, they find Reese out of the backfield, inside the 5, and now the Raiders knocking on the doorstep. Aided by the penalty. So Pryor giving the Panthers a different look, able to locate Reese.
Yeah, nice. There was a fake of the read option to the right side, and then a little dump pass over the top off of that. Pryor a little disappointed. He thought he'd scored a touchdown. He got his first touchdown pass.
Pryor inactive for the first 11 games of the season. Hayward Bay in motion on 2nd and goal from the 3. McFadden into the end zone, and Oakland able to cut into the deficit as a marker thrown now behind the line of scrimmage, and it's coming back.
Holding, offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
That's Stefan Wisniewski, the center. And boy, when it rains, it pours. The Raiders, you're right in the middle of your screen, 61. He saw the jersey get grabbed. Wisniewski went down to his knees. If he keeps his feet, I don't think that penalty is called. But when he went down to his knees, the referees could see that his paws had locked onto that jersey. You could see the jersey getting tugged. Boy, Dennis Allen's got to be so frustrating to finally see your team punch it in and have another penalty work against you.
70 penalty yards committed by Oakland. 2nd and goal from the 13. Line it again from the shotgun. This one incomplete. Reese never knew it was coming.
Yeah, I know what Matt Leinart was thinking here. He just did not want to force the ball in there. He's thrown a few balls away that he has not been under pressure per se. I think he had a little more time to give the play a chance to develop. He's being cautious, doesn't want to get rid of points here, but you know, shoot, in this situation, you got to make some plays. Stick it in there on somebody.
Carson Palmer looking on, lost to a rib injury. You see there, nearly 110 minutes without a touchdown for the Raiders. 3rd and goal from the 13. Leonard pump fakes, rolling to the sideline, and it's incomplete. Greg Hardy coming with the pressure.
Yeah, that was a good job by Matt Leinart right there. He really had no choice on that one. He stood in the pocket, no open receivers up the field. Good defense by the Carolina Panthers. They had everybody buttoned up. Matt Leinart tried to buy some time and eventually just had to get rid of that football.
So the touchdown run negated with the penalty. Now Janikowski, you hit from 21 earlier. He's been automatic from inside 40. Chip shot is good. So the Raiders salvaged 3 points. They were hoping for more. It's an 8-point game here in Charlotte. Back with you from Charlotte. Happy holidays. 14-6. Sebastian Janikowski with a couple of field goals. He has basically been their lone source of offense the last couple of weeks. 5 field goals in the win over Kansas City last Sunday. As Cam Newton will come back onto the field in an 8-point game early in the 4th. Reminder to stay tuned for the Subway post-game show from New York. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower standing by in our studios. They'll have all the latest scores and highlights on the Subway post-game show coming your way next. 14-6 Carolina. 13-18 to play in the 4th. 1st and 10 for Cam Newton from the 20. Newton goes play action and nearly a one-handed stab by Brandon LaFell. Looks like Newton took a shot. Mike Mitchell, the safety, coming on the blitz for the Raiders.
Yeah, Mike Mitchell did not bite on this bootleg and made Cam Newton pay the price there at the end.
Well, Mitchell got his money's worth on that play.
Yep.
Well, it's been a frustrating game for defenders on both sides of the field today. Multiple personal foul penalties, and a couple of them controversial, as D'Angelo Williams trying to move the pile close to the 25 as we head back to New York. We'll get an update here with JB. And
RG3 got his money on this play, though, Shannon.
Yes, JB, 22 yards to Santana Moss in the corner of the end zone. Great toe touch. 27-13, but RG3 just threw an interception. Philly is back in business.
I gave the money away on that one, then, huh, Shannon?
Yes, indeed.
Back to SPERO and Steve.
well, how about the position that the Redskins are in? They can clinch the NFC East. You see there with victories today and then next week as they try to finish strongly. 3rd and 5 here. Can the Raiders defense get off the field? Down 8. Newton going middle of the field. It's caught. And a first down to Greg Olsen. 9 yards. Olsen having the best season of his 6-year career.
Really nice catch here. This ball thrown a little bit behind Olsen, but in a catchable spot. Olsen moving across the field, reaches behind him, pulls that thing in with his big mitts. That's a big conversion for the Carolina Panthers.
had a chance to visit with Olsen yesterday. Talked about how badly the guys want to finish strongly and solidify Ron Rivera's future here with the Panthers. Some chatter about his standing after this season as Williams is dumped in the backfield by Lamar Houston. Back to New York and another update.
Patriots have never lost to the Jags in the regular season.
They started out slow, JB, but here Tom Brady, Wes Welker, 2-yard touchdown, and they're in front 23-13 over the Jags.
Looking for their 12th straight, and now they've got it scoring over 20 or more on the road. Patriots have done it. Back, SPERO and Steve.
Panthers stubbing their toe, 10-4. Trying to take things in the AFC East. Brandon LaFell in motion, 2nd and 11. Newton finally feels the pressure. It was Mitchell again coming blindside. LaFell hit right after the catch by Ross, and another marker comes in. This one right in the vicinity of Mitchell and Newton.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 1, for bumping the official. 15-yard penalty, down counts, 3rd down.
Well, Cam Newton has come so far this year. Great blitz called by the Raiders. Watch that after the play. He gets up. Yep, and that's exactly right. This is a young football player who's very passionate. He's got to learn to control it. He could have been called for a penalty with that kick earlier in the game. We look at the film for the previous couple games. He's very intense, very passionate. He does have those reactions after plays sometimes, and he's going to start getting penalties called.
So 3rd and 29 as they are pushed all the way back to the 15. Tolbert just trying to get some yardage back. So the Raiders winning the battle of field position, at least for the moment. And they're going to get it back here, down only 8 points with 10:34 remaining.
And Steve Smith jumped in between Cam Newton and the referee. Cam Newton made a comment to the referee after that play as well. And I don't even know what he was upset about in the first place. That was a good hit by Mitchell. And these defenders can't pop off of you as soon as they land on top of you. They're going to be on top of you for a couple seconds. It's just part of the game.
Well, Newton took a lot of media criticism early in the year. Appeared to turn a corner with a couple of mistakes today, losing his composure. That one cost him Carolina dearly. Marker thrown, and then a second marker comes in what appeared to be a face mask. Denarius Moore on the return. So 2 different penalties thrown.
Yeah, that was Mike Goodson in the back of a Panther defender. It was Jordan Sin. That was the first penalty if there are more than one.
Looked to be a face mask at the end of the play. Denarius Moore, the return man, lost 3 after a 48-yard punt. I mean, the penalties have been just a part of this story as anything else. Clock right now continues to run.
And that should not be the case.
I'll put some more time back on, showing 9:29. A lot to discuss here with 2 different markers thrown. There's Mike Goodson.
And while the referees sort this out, on Cam Newton, let's just make it very clear that he's made tremendous progress this year. And to make it very clear, he just has a lot to learn, and he'd be the first one to admit it, but he's got to learn how to keep his composure in those situations.
There are 2 fouls on the play. First, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 25. Face mask, kicking team, number 55. Those fouls offset at the dead ball spot. First down.
That is a lot to sort out. I don't know how these guys keep it straight, and they put more time back on the clock.
Cam Newton losing his composure at the end of the play. We'll see if that comes back to haunt the Panthers here in the 4th. Well, Cam Newton's bank account may be taking a couple of hits this week after a kick earlier in the game that wasn't called post-whistle, and then making contact with an official a moment ago. Raiders have it. 1st and 10. McFadden just can't seem to get himself going. A lot of penalty issues for both teams. Here was the initial play, the hit on Palmer that knocked him from the game. Contact in a physical game. A lot of things, Steve, happening after the whistle.
Yeah. And you think this game doesn't matter to these guys. You know, both teams, Raiders 4-10, the Panthers 5-9, but it still means a lot to these guys. They're competing.
McFadden finally able to get to the second level. Captain Munnerlyn brings him down. Best run from McFadden today, 13 yards and a Raiders first down in a game that's only separated here by 8 points with still plenty of time, and the Raiders with all 3 timeouts.
Yeah, you can sense that the Raiders have kind of taken control of the momentum of this ball game. The Panthers have not had a lot of rhythm offensively. The Raiders have had some opportunities to get the ball in the end zone. They've had to settle for field goals, but they're knocking on the door.
1st and 10. Leonard has time, goes through his progressions. They're in Panthers territory. Marcel Reese on the reception. 19 yards as they move the chains again.
Well, this is a schoolyard play right here. Matt Leinart, he looks to his left first. He wants to go right, but then he comes back and is looking for someone to dump it to. That is not a route designed to get the ball to Marcel Reese, the fullback, 20 yards up the field. But a great job being a playmaker by Matt Leinart, seeing the color flash and making a nice throw.
180. What's up?
1st and 10. Delayed handoff to Goodson. Struggling to just get back to the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Luke Kuechly for the Panthers. Well, your favorite superstar performers, honor acting legend Dustin Hoffman, king of late night David Letterman, and one of the greatest rock bands of all time, Led Zeppelin. The Kennedy Center honors Wednesday, only CBS. SPERO, DEDES, Steve BEUERLEIN, our entire CBS crew from Charlotte. 2nd and 9. Raiders down 8.
180. What's up?
Leinart throwing into a danger zone. 3 Panthers defenders around Derek Hagan.
Well, that was a very shaky decision by Matt Leinart. He's completed only 1 of his last 6 balls. He's 13 of 24 overall for about 93 yards with 1 interception. Right there, that was a very fortunate situation for Matt Leinart not to have that ball intercepted.
Leinart, unsuccessful stints in Arizona and Houston. Now with an opportunity with Carson Palmer done for the day. 3rd and 9 from the 41. Leinart over the middle. It's caught at the 30. First down for the Raiders. Darius Hayward-Bay on the 11-yard reception.
This is a great job by Matt Leinart. 3rd and long, big 3rd down conversion opportunity. Watch him look to his left to try and move the defense, and he comes back to his right side. I think he knew all along that time he wanted to go back to the backside to Hayward-Bay. But what you can do as a quarterback, as a veteran quarterback with your eyes, you can look one way to try and move a defender underneath and create a passing lane.
1st and 10. McFadden cuts it back and lunges across the 30. So minimal gain on 1st down. Greg Hardy combining with Kuechly on the tackle. Clock continues to run, 6:38 and counting in an 8-point game.
Well, it's getting a little bit dicey here for the Carolina Panthers now. You know, you're riding a wave of confidence coming off your last 5 weeks, and you're letting the Raiders hang around. Matt Leinart stepping up, starting to make some plays here.
McFadden, the lone setback. Reese in motion on 2nd and 9. Leinart on a crossing route over the middle finds Moore inside the 25. They're about 4 yards shy of the 1st down marker with 6 minutes remaining.
Good, tough catch here by Denarius Moore. And who's always in and up there in the pile? It seems like Luke Kuechly's always getting there to stick his nose in there and finish off the play.
So 3rd and 3. Steve, 4-down territory at this point. I'm going for 6.
I think you have to with 5 minutes left in the ball game. I mean, there's plenty of time, but you cannot assume that you're going to get the ball back when this clock gets inside of 5 minutes.
Panthers will take a timeout.
Timeout, Carolina. Their second.
Their first timeout of the second half, so it's getting interesting here. An 8-point game with 5:30 remaining. Back in Charlotte, huge 3rd down play from Matt Leinart on in relief of Carson Palmer at the moment. They're spotted at the 24-yard line. 3rd and 4 officially. Leinart put some air under it. It's caught at the 5, and now it's incomplete. Boy, Streeter sandwiched between 2 defenders, nearly pulled it in. And Dennis Allen keeping his offense on the field. They'll go for it on 4th down.
Yep, there was some indecision. Sebastian Janikowski was starting to run out on the field, but Dennis Allen making the decision to go for it here. Boy, it's a tough call in this situation. 4th and 5. It's a little bit easier if it's 4th and short. Or if there's less time on the clock, you could say, hey, they need to go for it. Right here, it's kind of a gut decision. I like the call by Dennis Allen.
What a play by James Dockery, the nickel corner on that last play. 4th and 4 from the 24. Leinart from the shotgun. He's got all day. It's deflected and incomplete. And Carolina taking over on downs. Greg Hardy got his hand on it. So once again, Oakland's offense unable to punch it in. Raiders running out of time, down 8. 5:19 to play. As Cam Newton back onto the field with his Panthers offense. 1st and 10 from their own 24. Rob Krasinski has Newton from the shotgun. He fakes the give to Tolbert. Heady play by Newton to keep the clock moving. At least want to force Oakland to use some of their timeouts here. As we remind you, the Subway postgame show is next. We'll send you to New York. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher standing by. They'll have the scores and highlights from Week 16 all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Matt Leinart had a good start early, Steve, but their offense just can't generate any points.
Yeah, they just have not been able to find the end zone. On the other side, Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton had a real strong first half, but this Panthers offense has been shut down to this point in the second half.
All right, Newton faking it and really selling it to Tolbert. Stays in bounds to keep it moving. 19 yards and a huge Panthers first down.
Wow, this is the Panthers' greatest weapon in a situation like this. You can get back in the shotgun, spread the field, and run very safe, solid running plays. And a defense cannot load the box up because you got the field spread. You just can't account for a quarterback that can run like this big guy can run the football.
Newton earlier, the 22nd rushing touchdown in 31 career games. Set a NFL record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in a season last year. What a throw and what a catch. Greg Olsen, the tight end. They will keep the clock moving. 20 yards and another first down.
And that was the key point right there, Spiro, about the fact that Greg Olsen, I believe, knew exactly where he was on the field and got down on purpose inbounds. What a great play on his part to keep it inbounds and keep that clock going. Now the Raiders have to start making decisions on when they want to use their timeouts.
Well, Olsen talked yesterday about feeling so comfortable here with their offensive coordinator, Rob Krasinski, making the move here from Chicago. Krasinski recruited him to Miami as a collegiate star. Marker whistles the play dead before it's snapped.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Gary Williams, the fourth-year guard out of Kentucky.
Let's make a statement, too. That was a very, very aggressive, gutsy call by Rob Chudzinski on that last play. First down in an obvious running situation. You see Rob Chudzinski right there in the glasses sitting next to Scott Turner, son of San Diego Chargers head coach Norv Turner, but Chudzinski, very aggressive, very confident play call right there to get the ball to his tight end, Greg Olson.
Man who interviewed for 3 different head coaching positions last offseason before returning to Carolina. 1st and 15 after the penalty. Williams tripped up as he lunges forward to pick up some positive yardage. Nice defensive play by Ross. Brandon Ross, the first-year man out of Youngstown State. A depleted Oakland secondary that has had to deal with so many injuries. But they're holding here. A timeout taken by Dennis Allen, down 8. Oh, the Carolina Panthers looking for a 3rd straight win, trying to put the Raiders away. It's an 8-point game as Cam Newton wrapped up for a loss on 2nd and 13. Lamar Houston got his arms around him. Dennis Allen will take his 2nd timeout. It'll be a 3rd and 14. You stop him here, Steve, you've still got the 2-minute warning. And still a very dangerous spot for the Panthers. Wednesday in primetime, JB, Phil Simms, and Chris Collinsworth showcase America's favorite game with their own unique style inside the NFL Wednesday on Showtime. Give this Raiders defense, Steve, all kinds of credit. And they've given up chunks of yardage at different junctures, bad penalties that they've had to take. But here they are in a position again to give their offense perhaps one more chance.
Yeah, they've only given up 14 points, and they've done a really good job, especially in this second half, controlling the Panthers on offense.
3rd and 14. They spot it at the 37. Newton's going to call his own number. So they don't take a shot downfield. Clock will continue to run as now Dennis Allen will take their 2nd timeout. Clock stopped at 2:51. There's Graham Gano.
And Ron Rivera's got a decision to make here. You want to give your kicker a shot at a 51-yard kick here, potentially giving the Raiders good field position if they don't make the kick.
Yeah, that's their final timeout. That's what I thought. So they're out of timeouts at this point. 2:51. They've still got the 2-minute warning. Basically, if you hit this field goal, it's basically over.
Yes, and it's the right call. I mean, this is the NFL. You got your kicker's got to be able to hit a 51-yard field goal to ice a game in good conditions.
Gano signing a contract on November the 21st, just his 5th game with the Panthers. This one has the distance, and it is good. So a bit of a gamble by Ron Rivera, but a move he felt he had to make. And Dennis Allen helplessly looks on as the Raiders in danger of losing their 11th game of the season.
And you're right, Spero. That is a gutsy call by Ron Rivera. A lot of defensive coaches, specifically because they're generally by nature more conservative, would try to pin the opposing team deep in their own territory. But I like the mentality of Ron Rivera, showing confidence in his team to get the job done and ice the ball game with the big kick. That's Mike Shula right there, the quarterback's coach, and Dennis Allen disappointed, thinking it's going left, but not to be.
Oh, it's been a frustrating year for Dennis Allen, the 39-year-old head coach, youngest head man in the NFL. A lot of the year is spent just trying to position and restructure some bad contracts.
And you know, with Mark Davis taking over the Raiders with the passing of his father, Al Davis, and Reggie McKenzie, and now former Raider player, teammate of mine in the position of general manager. This is an organization that's committed to getting this organization back on top, doing things the right way. And they know it's not going to be an easy process, but they're on the same page.
Goodson from deep in his own end zone across the 20 and brought down at the 22. With Carolina leading now comfortably by 11. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS closes out the regular season with doubleheader action. Subject to flexible scheduling. Check your local listings. Some of the early games in Kansas City, Denver late. It all starts with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines.
And let's give Ron Rivera credit too. You know, one thing that he told us yesterday, that this team has never once even shied away from anything. They've stayed after practice all season long. They know how close they are. They're a bunch of self-motivators that are not going to accept anything but their best effort.
Myers on the reception from Leinart. One thing Rivera did, earlier in the year, a couple of weeks back, when he started to hear the media talk about, what his future is going to be, he got up in front of the team and said, guys, don't worry about me. Play for yourselves. Rivera just so adored in that Panthers locker room as that pass falls incomplete.
Yeah.
Win today, they'll go to 6-9, Steve. 3 straight wins after that disappointing start.
Well, Greg Olson told us as well that, how can you not love playing for this guy? He's so honest. He doesn't hide from anything. The players have been involved in so many close games, 7 losses by less than 7 points. And he said, we've been in a position to win those games. We got to make plays as players. The players got to take ownership for some of this. They love playing for Ron Rivera, and they're very, very loyal and supportive of him.
3rd and 3 from the 28. Line is set, and that'll do it. Dwan Edwards will go for it here on 4th down as they lose 9 more yards. This will take us to the 2-minute warning. Leinart will stay on the field. Won't get the play off here. 17-6, 4th down play when we come back. One last gasp from Matt Leinart in Oakland. Down 17-6, 2 minutes to play in the 4th. This one 4th and 12 as they line up at the 19. Leinart airing it out sideline, and it's incomplete.
You just can't do that. I mean, you're 4th down at 12 with the ball game on the line. It's a 2-minute warning. You got to give somebody a chance to make a play there. Matt Leinart making a very questionable decision right there. You can't just throw that ball out of bounds. You got to give some. Who cares about the interception? Give one of your players a chance to make a play. Just a frustrating end to a frustrating day for the Raiders. One more time.
Raiders will fall to 4-11 on the year. Panthers will go to 6-9. Raiders are out of timeouts. So 3 kneel downs, all that Cam Newton and company will need. Ron Rivera can celebrate as the Panthers, after all the disappointments early in the year, will win 3 straight games.
He's such a positive guy, such a positive, calm presence. Got to feel good about the way this season is ending for Ron Rivera and the Panthers.
I kind of said it's bittersweet. It's pleasing the way that they're finishing, but sad as well, considering the high expectations that just were not met by Carolina, a team that won 4 of their final 6 games last year. People felt like they were on an upward tick. And with another year on the Cam Newton's belt, that this would be a team that would challenge for a playoff spot, but it just won't happen.
Well, and most importantly, management felt that way too. The owner, Jerry Richardson, he's very passionate about getting to a Super Bowl again and winning a Super Bowl for this city, for this franchise. And, so much so, fired general manager Marty Herney early in the season. They're still trying to figure out which direction they're going to go as far as that goes. Right now, Brandon Beane acting as the interim general manager for this team, but you would expect they'd try to bring in somebody else a little bit more experience, at least for an interview.
Cam Newton talked about how Herney's firing impacted so many guys in that locker room, a man who was responsible for building this roster. As the Carolina Panthers go to 6-9, they've won 3 straight games. And meantime, the frustration for Dennis Allen continues. Oakland falls to 4-11. Carson Palmer lost to the rib injury early, never returned. And your final score, the Carolina Panthers 17 and the Raiders 6. Now for Steve BEUERLEIN, this is SPERO DEDES saying so long from Charlotte. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Let's go to the Subway postgame show in New York and James Brown.